So this is Man in the Moon, take 2, philosophy breakdown. And that line, Andy Kaufman in the wrestling match. So Andy Kaufman challenged this pro wrestler back in the 60s or 70s, I think. And so the whole took part in the whole wrestling showbiz stuff of, trying to psych each other out on the camera in the build up to it and all this, and then just got the other guy just threw him around like a rag doll, and as you would, because Andy Kaufman wasn't the wrestler. But people got really upset because they thought he was getting beaten up. But I think we know these days that the wrestling is staged. People still watch it, they still love it. They're like, oh, cool, okay, so it's theatrical, so what? But at the time, that was a very interesting way of showing that how much are we willfully taking part in the what we term as conspiracy, or okay, now I'm lost for words, sorry. And is that a conspiracy that hurts anyone? Like the whole wrestling, okay, it's fake, but it's real. The moon landing, if that was fake, would that have hurt anyone? That's like, not really. Doesn't really hurt anyone. The Coca-Cola commercial where young, beautiful people are just guzzling down these cans of Coke and just living it up on the beach. Maybe that does hurt. I think that hurts a lot more than the wrestling match. And so people coming up with these, really far out conspiracies that, there's this possibly not even humans, this alien race controlling the banking and all this far out elaborate shit, when really there's stuff right in front of our face that if we chose to, we could just say, hey, why have we got this education system that we are lawfully, our children, ourselves as children, we spent 10 to 12 years of our life, our formative years, going through a process that very few people enjoy. Even the learning, like how many people actually feel like they learnt, like they were educated through this system of obedience. And if anything, I learned to hate learning and had to train, unlearn that to later on. Like, yeah, I've been to university and still, like, if it's anything that I find difficult or uninteresting, man, my brain just switches off. It's the hardest thing in the world. I've got to really pursue the things that I'm really interested in. And I think that's a lot to do with school. Otherwise be a lot more open-minded, just like, oh, what's this idea? Just like, okay, it's not really of interest that much, but I think I'd be more open to it. So we've got, I can see some pretty bad examples of us willfully participating in shit that's, who knows where it came from, but let's just assume that we're all complicit in it and lazy in the fact that we don't challenge it and try to institute something new and better. And this whole culture of money and capitalist success, which I don't think was anywhere more prevalent than the Wolf of Wall Street. And I should try and find a part of this song that references the modern economic mania. Because you hear about these lawyers that they call it work, that they just work 18 hours a day for the first 10 years of their career, getting paid hundreds of dollars an hour, like thousands of dollars a day. And what kind of work is that? Is that, what are they building, or are they just using the law to justify corrupt practices? Obviously if someone's got a problem with it, it's probably because they're being hurt by it. And so, that's part of being a lawyer, is you take someone's hurts to the justice system and try to get justice for them. And the other half is trying to prevent that justice from taking place. And if someone has got more money and more lawyers, like these big corporations, then people being hurt don't really stand a chance in court. So it gets back at, how many people had to die from that. How many people have to die from soft drink and McDonald's and the people in those institutions. Like, what we need an education system so that people aren't just going straight into this corporate world, just obsessed with this idea of success in the form of monetary reward, and they don't even have a world view. Who does before the age of, if in your 20s, we need to be getting out and seeing other cultures, and so we can realize that, okay, our culture's not necessarily, not everything happens for a reason. Like, there's not a good reason for everything that we do, and that there could be a lot more to work towards than whatever the fuck these lawyers are doing 18 hours a day. Anyway, and these Wall Street, what do you call them? These people in the economic world where money just appears, and what do they spend it on? What even if they achieve this, success, what are they gonna invest it in? Where are their values? That, oh hey, this is a world that I feel part of, that I feel is worthwhile, that I feel safe and appreciated, and all the things that we should have as ourselves as young people, and we should be giving to young people, just sense of worth. Anyway, let's do a bit more of the song. But Coca-Cola, if they said, hey, no, we're not just gonna hire the whiz-bang flash young success hotshots. Where's your 7 years in Tibet? Where is your knowledge of, you could just make a better product and not be in fear of your whole empire collapsing because it's built on sugar and bubbles. So that's not a very strong, and advertising. So that's where the magicians really come in. And so we're not being taught that in school, how to recognise being programmed to spend that $2.50 every time we go to the shop to fulfill a basic biological need, which is thirst, and replacing the natural thing, which is water, with something else that can be charged money for. And so I'd like to see that, but I mean, those institutions just have to die, and a natural death as new ones spring up with a better product the whole system of being part of this huge machine that is Coca-Cola and all these other dubious institutions of production and consumption. That it's so good that we have options these days. We can buy some good food that tastes good and it's healthy. It says you can feel good later on too, not just in that moment of sensation on our taste buds. Annie, did you hear about this one? Tell me, are you locked in the punch? Andy, are you good for an Elvis? Hey, baby, though we're losing touch. If you believe you put a man on the moon, a man on the moon. Yeah, if you believe there's nothing up their sleeve, nothing is cool. Most when walking with a staff of blue. Anyway, that's probably enough. So don't look so far for your conspiracy, emotional, emotional kicks. There's not too much of an emotional kick to be gotten from just the shit that's happening in day-to-day lives, but there's probably a long-term full sense of fulfillment if, hey, let's not just scream and tear our hair out and demand that these temples get torn down. Let's get away from the crazy cray and actually work with each other to create a better thing. Like teachers in the school, they're not bad people. They're trying their best to do a good thing, and I see, my kids, they're doing all right. I just remember my experience of school, and I have worked within education to a degree and seen the effect on kids that don't fit so well into that. And I'm like, hey, let's make the system fit them. Let's stop trying to change the shape of these kids and their hunger for that just need for play and just enjoyment and yeah, let's make it fun. Let's do that. Okay, that's enough.